The story begins on the sun-drenched shores of the Sea of Galilee. A new voice is heard in the land, a man named Jesus of Nazareth. His ministry is just beginning, yet he speaks with a quiet authority that turns heads and stills hearts. The air itself seems to hum with anticipation. Walking along the shore, Jesus sees two brothers, Simon and Andrew, casting a large net into the water. They are fishermen, their lives dictated by the tides and the seasons. He stops and looks at them, not just at their hands, calloused from years of hauling nets, but into their very souls. Then, he speaks a simple, yet profound invitation. "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." The words hang in the air, a strange and compelling promise. Andrew turns to his brother, his eyes wide. "Simon, did you hear him? Fishers of men. What can that mean?" Simon, later to be known as Peter, gazes at Jesus, a sense of awe washing over him. "I've never heard anyone speak like that," he murmurs. "Not with such power. Let's go." Without a moment's hesitation, they leave their nets, their boat, their entire livelihood, and follow him. A short distance further, Jesus sees two more brothers in a boat with their father, Zebedee. James and John are mending their nets, a routine task they've done countless times. Jesus calls to them as well. The call is just as direct, just as irresistible. James turns to John, his voice filled with conviction. This must be the man John the Baptist spoke of. We have to follow him. They too leave their father and their boat, their past lives abandoned for an unknown future with this captivating teacher. The next day, Jesus decides to go to Galilee and finds a man named Philip. To him, the call is even simpler, just two words: follow me. Philip is so moved that he immediately seeks out his friend, Nathanael, who is resting in the shade of a fig tree. Philip bursts with excitement. "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nathanael, ever the skeptic, scoffs at the idea. Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? It was a small, unassuming town, hardly the expected origin for a Messiah. Philip doesn't argue. He simply says, "Come and see." As Nathanael approaches, Jesus sees him and declares, "Behold, an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael is taken aback. "How do you know me?" he asks, surprised that this stranger could perceive his character so accurately. Jesus' reply astounds him. "Before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you." In that moment, all of Nathanael's skepticism melts away. He saw what Philip saw. This was no ordinary man. This was someone who could see beyond the physical, into the heart and soul. Awestruck, Nathanael, also known as Bartholomew, makes a profound declaration of faith. "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." As Jesus and his growing band of followers travel, they come across a man named Matthew, sitting at his tax collector's booth. In those days, tax collectors were despised, seen as traitors who worked for the Roman occupiers and often extorted their own people. Jesus walks up to this societal outcast and, looking past the scorn of the crowd, says the same two powerful words: "Follow me." Without a second thought, Matthew gets up, leaves his booth, his money, everything, and follows Jesus. This act causes a stir among the other disciples. The fiery Simon Peter confronts Jesus, unable to hide his dismay. A tax collector. "Teacher, these men are collaborators, traitors to our people." Jesus looks at Peter, his gaze calm and full of compassion. "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick." He explains gently, "I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Peter falls silent, the profound truth of the words sinking in. Andrew places a reassuring hand on his brother's shoulder, a silent acknowledgement that this new path would challenge all their old prejudices. The group continues to grow. One by one, others are called and drawn to the magnetic presence of this teacher from Nazareth. There is Thomas, whose practical mind would later demand tangible proof. There is another James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, men of quiet faith. There is Simon, known as the Zealot, a man whose fierce political passion for Israel's freedom was now being redirected toward a different kind of kingdom. And finally, there is Judas Iscariot, the man from Kerioth, who would be entrusted with the group's finances. Now there are 12. A motley crew of fishermen, a tax collector, a political revolutionary, and others from all walks of life. They are a study in contrasts, a collection of strong personalities who, under normal circumstances, might never have spoken to one another, let alone lived and traveled together. One evening, as they gather around a campfire, the tensions are clear. Simon the Zealot, who had dedicated his life to overthrowing Roman rule, glares across the fire at Matthew, the man who had once served that very system. Matthew sits apart, feeling the weight of the other's judgment. John, noticing the friction, walks over to Simon the Zealot. "He is one of us now, Simon," he says quietly. The teacher's way is different. It's about forgiveness, about a new beginning. Later, Thomas finds Philip, his brow furrowed in thought. "He speaks of a kingdom," Thomas says, "but I see no army, no swords. He talks of loving our enemies. How can we build a kingdom this way?" Philip, who had learned to trust what he could not yet understand, simply smiles. With him, the impossible seems to happen every day, doesn't it? We just have to have faith, Thomas. Come and see. And so they stood, 12 men chosen from obscurity. Fishermen, a tax collector, a zealot, skeptics, and believers. They were an unlikely assembly, a new community forged not by blood or status, but by the call of one man. They didn't understand everything. They were filled with questions, fears, and old rivalries. But they were together, bound by a shared journey and a single, world-changing mission that was just beginning to unfold. They were the 12, and their journey with Jesus would go on to shape the course of human history. Thank you for watching. If you were inspired by this story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that brings these timeless accounts to life. We'll see you in the next video.